Dinner.
I want to get out of here. I want to get out. Welcome back to the channel, guys.
Yes.
Come with you guys.
Welcome back to the channel. So if you've been following our journey for a while, thank you for joining the adventures. You will know that Archie has a massive, deep love for historic places, don't you?
Yeah.
You love going to old castles. He loves the architecture, the buildings itself. He loves finding out all about the history of places. And also just exploring the open spaces as well, that he absolutely loves. So recently we decided to go and try Seaton Delaval Hall. We actually thought it was going to be an amazing day out. The size, the scale of the building, the grounds that it's in.
That was what I was talking about just then.
We thought it was going to be fantastic for him. But as every single SEN parent knows, any neurodivergent families watching, a day out is just never a walk in the park. It doesn't matter what you do, the planning that you do, you've got to take it for as it comes. Even the environments that our children love can most secretly hold the hidden sensory traps, the unpredictable triggers, and the overwhelming moments. So today we're sharing our completely honest, unfiltered experience of the National Trust Seaton Delaval Hall. This will be the incredible highs that we had, along with some of the lows that we experienced. It followed through with some independent sensory exploration to sudden heartbreaking meltdowns, and how we navigated it as a family. So we arrived at Seaton Delaval Hall, and the first thing we always look for on a family day out is the layout of the entrance and the immediate grounds, just to take in what's needed for Archie. For Archie, transitioning from the predictability of the car into the brand new unknown environment requires a lot of mental processing. So we started with a lovely quiet walk right up through to the main grounds, through the historic stables, and honestly this was a perfect way to begin for us. Opening up a day out with a wide open outdoor space is a fantastic strategy for a neurodivergent child. It acts as a natural decompression chamber. There was no crushing crowds, no loud echoes. There was plenty of physical space for him to move his body and adjust the atmosphere on his own pace. When we stepped inside the stables, the ceilings, the airy layout, it worked beautifully for him. And you really enjoyed the stable area, didn't you? Can you remember the old stables?
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, and you liked that, didn't you? You liked exploring.
Yeah, but the only thing I didn't like, do you remember where the bows and arrows were?
We will get to that soon. Don't you worry.
That was the place where I hated.
Yes.
It had really high ceilings.
Yes.
Higher than the stable.
He was completely relaxed, he was curious, he was genuinely ready to explore the history. And as a parent, seeing him step into a space with that level of calm and confidence, it gives you such a great feeling of hope for the rest of the day. So next we made our way into the main house itself, and the architecture inside the house was just breathtaking. We walked along the long grand corridors. Archie was taking it all in, looking up at the massive historic paintings lining the wall. For a child who loves history, these spaces are so visually stimulating in the best possible way, and that's what we find with Archie. But we then stumbled across the upside down room, and my goodness, Archie absolutely loved this space. For a neurodivergent child like Archie...
I was just saying, can someone please help me? I want to learn.
For a neurodivergent child, the unique visual setups like that can be an incredible form of a positive sensory input. It completely flips the perspective of spatial awareness, and he stood right in the centre of the room with his hands thrown straight up in the air, just completely mesmerised, and he was just absorbing the magic of that room. And it's moments like that that are exactly why we try to keep these days out going. Seeing him that happy, that regulated and engaged in a historic space is just pure joy for us and for him. So while we were exploring the house, we found a quiet corner with a chess set, and it turned out to be an absolute blessing. He sat down with Jess and they got started straight into a game. For an autistic child, finding a highly structured, predictable activity like chess in the middle of a stimulating environment is an amazing tool for self-regulation. It allowed his nervous system to completely pause and reset before we continued moving through the property. After the game, we moved to the bedrooms, and Archie's curiosity was in full swing here. Curiosity was just in full swing. And then he walked back over to look out of the grounds through the window and just stared out there for some time. So up to this point in the day, he was doing so beautifully. He was regulated, he was happy, he was managing the transitions perfectly. So as we moved deeper into the house, the sensory environment began to shift. We stepped into the artefact exhibition room. Right away I noticed a change in Archie's body language. He wasn't keen on that space. I think it was quite enclosed in there. He had the feeling of that atmosphere made him quite uncomfortable, so we didn't force that upon him, and we kept moving back out into the corridors. So he ran straight up the stairs, and as he kept climbing higher and higher, the warning signs started appearing. Height's a massive, intense trigger for Archie.
Yeah, it's because the railings.
Yeah, that's what the railings were like. So once we reached the upstairs level, his anxiety spiked really heavily. This is where the architectural design really impacts accessibility. The protective barriers upstairs were designed in a way that made Archie feel completely unsafe. To a neurodivergent child whose brain is processing spatial depth and safety signals differently, a barrier that feels open or designed for aesthetics rather than solid security can trigger an immediate fight or flight. And he felt completely exposed to that height, and we could just see worry written all over his face at that point. So we managed to find a brief moment of calm when we stepped into a bedroom with I think it was like a pinky reddy coloured wallpaper. The change in colour and the enclosed solid walls instantly made him feel secure again. He was ready to go off and explore in that room, in that environment, and he felt quite calm in there. The visual input of the pink room acted like a little safety blanket, and he was happy to explore it. But the moment we stepped back out onto the landing, he caught sight of the view from the massive window. Seeing a sheer drop in height just set his fear off all over again. We already knew his stress bucket was starting to get dangerously full, so we took him back outside of the grounds just to let off a bit of steam. And he enjoyed himself running across the lawns, burning off some heavy anxious adrenaline that builds up when the child is terrified. So we thought a bit of physical movement in the fresh air would be enough to reset him just for that one last area that we had left to go. Once he seemed regulated, we decided to explore the basement level, and initially he absolutely loved it down there. The underground, the solid stone walls, they made him feel completely safe from the heights upstairs. He became entirely absorbed in self-chosen task where he decided...
What I hated down there was the shit bits.
Yes.
Speakers don't actually sound like monsters.
They did, didn't they?
Go on.
So he became entirely absorbed in a self-chosen task where he was cleaning the little gravel stones off the floor lights so that the lighting in the corridor would be better. So obviously in the SEN world, we call this heavy work or purposely sensory input. Proprioceptive system. He was completely in his element, happy and focused, and he even got praise off some of the workers there as well for clearing the lights for them. But historic buildings are entirely unpredictable.
What?
We walked into the next basement room, which housed a massive historic anchor. So without warning, an automated trigger, loud, booming music and audio began playing to narrate the room. So in a confined, echoing stone basement, that sudden shock of loud sound
Get out of here. I want to get out. I really want to get out.
was the absolute breaking point, and Archie was utterly terrified. So he completely begun pleading with us, crying, asking to get out immediately, and his sensory system had just completely overloaded, and it rolled into a full overwhelming meltdown. The day out had to stop right there. Our job now was safety and comfort for Archie. So we got him out of the building as fast as possible and took him straight over to the adventure park that are on the grounds. And honestly, even though the heavens opened and it started pouring down, playing in the rain was the ultimate sensory reset that he needed. The cold rain, the heavy physical movement on the playground equipment completely washed away the trauma of that basement room. He had a brilliant time spinning, laughing, finally letting his nervous system calm down. And overall, Archie did have a really good day out in parks, but in terms of his actual needs, I think Seaton Delaval Hall just wasn't well suited for him. Afterwards, he explicitly told us that he never wants to go back there again. It's a really strange one because he has such a deep, genuine love for history and old buildings, but the combination of the scary heights, the barriers that felt unsafe to him, and the sudden loud automated noises in the basement were just a bit too much for his sensory system to handle. And that's the raw reality of SEN parenting. You can plan perfectly, you can pick a place that they should love, but the environment can change everything. You can win some and you can learn from some. So thank you so much for watching our honest journey today, and if your children have ever faced hidden triggers on a day out, let me know how you handled it in the comments below. Please hit that subscribe button to join the community, and we will see you on the next adventure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.